You've lost weight, gained it all back, lost again. What's actually happening physiologically that causes the body to regain weight so quickly? Why couldn't I stop myself when I had just gained like a couple of pounds? The answer may lie in something that we are now only beginning to understand. This is a brand new science. You have worked so hard. You've lost weight, gained it all back, lost again, gained it all back again. Do you even remember how many cycles your body has gone through? I don't. Now, I can estimate in the last 10, 20 years, it has to be more than 10 easily. So, why do people get stuck in this loop? What's actually happening physiologically that causes the body to regain weight so quickly? And no, it's not just because you fell off the wagon, you cheated, or you gave up. Now, for every cycle, the weight loss part, I remember very vividly. Salads, quinoa, the planning, the workouts, cardio, steps, you know, willpower, all 9 yards. But the weight gain part, it's like there's a disconnect between my mind and a body. Now, I do remember going through motions of eating a lot of food, falling into despair, not weighing myself because I was bad the day before, and ignoring that my clothes are tight, just grabbing the one size up, and it keeps happening over and over until I'm back where I started. So why couldn't I stop myself when I had just gained like a couple of pounds? Why is it so hard to course correct? And here's the wild part. The answer may lie in something that we are now only beginning to understand. This is a brand new science, and it's pointing towards your fat cells. Your fat cells are smart. Turns out they have memory. They remember being full and pudgy, and they prefer to stay that way. Even when you have lost weight and you have shrunken those cells down, they want to go back. Now, why? We don't know yet. Now, if you're stuck in this exhausting cycle, this new science might be the missing puzzle piece. For me, it was a game changer because now you know that it's so much more than just your willpower. So, for the first time in my adult life, I've been able to maintain my weight loss for 9 months straight while deep in the throes of perimenopause. And let me tell you, perimenopause makes everything 10 times harder because you're not only fighting the usual culprits like sabotaging fat cells in your body, you're also battling declining hormones. So let's understand what we are up against, because when you know your enemy, you are in a better position to fight back. What is fat cell memory? In 2024, Stanford study found that even after mice lost weight, their fat cells still carried a molecular memory of obesity, and that is called epigenetic memory. Now, here's an analogy that I came up with, and please keep in mind that this is a very, very simplistic version of what really happens. So imagine your DNA as a massive instructional manual, a book with thousands of pages, and each page contains a code for different bodily functions. Some pages in that book are dedicated to fat cells, and they have instructions for fat cells. Some of the instructions are to store fat. Some of the instructions are to burn fat as energy. So when we become obese, our body places these sticky notes on these pages that has instructions for fat cells, and these sticky notes are called epigenetic tags. These tags cannot change the text on the page, but they can highlight some instructions and they can hide some instructions. So epigenetic tags for obesity highlights storing fat instructions, and they hide burn fat instructions. And these epigenetic tags are triggered by certain environmental factors like repeated insulin spikes, chronic stress, poor sleep. So when that happens, the sticky notes flip open those pages with highlighted instructions that probably say something like regain all weight ASAP. And then your fat cells start sending signals to your brain, and your brain ramp up your food noise. It amplifies craving and push you towards behavior that refill those cells. Now, you might be thinking that is not fair, and you are absolutely right. It's not. I mean, Mother Nature is not fair. But here is the empowering part. You can absolutely work with your biology. Those sticky notes, the epigenetic tags, only cause trouble in wrong environment. In the Stanford study that I just mentioned, mice who stayed on healthy diets didn't activate those fat memory scripts. That means your choices, your environment can silence those old patterns. So it's not all doom or gloom. Now, let's get practical. I believe there is a strategy in fighting these cells, and I've divided that strategy in two buckets. So, bucket number one is the basics. I'm not going to go into detail because these are the things that you already know. Balanced meals with more protein, fiber, healthy fats, minimal processed food, strength training, non negotiable, sleep, crucial for long term brain and metabolic health. One thing that I really want to emphasize on is this big mindset shift. That is, at midlife, it's no longer about calories in, calories out. This formula worked just fine in your younger years, but in midlife, especially when you have gone through multiple cycles of losing, gaining weight, that 100-calorie dessert is just not 100-calorie dessert. That dessert, that small morsel of dessert, can initiate a hormonal shift that can not only awaken your fat cells, but also keep them in a storage mode for a long, long time. And that is why what worked before doesn't work now. Before you cut your calories down to 12, 1300 and you'll start losing weight. But now you're on a pretty much the same diet, you're working out and things are not budging, is because the hormones plays a huge role. So your fat cells are like on standby. They're just waiting for signals from insulin spike, stress, lack of sleep. And once those signals hit, they blast your brain with cravings and food noise. And before you know it, you are eating uncontrollably with no idea what triggered it. So one key strategy in that bucket that has diet in there is low insulin spiking food. That will really help you not falling into that vicious cycle. Now, you still love desserts? Great. Save them for weekends. It's not about giving them up completely. It's about working with your hormones, not against them. I used to have dessert every night with my husband. That was our thing. Stopped doing that. Then I start just having a dessert on weekends. And then I was like, the craving stopped, because when you break that cycle, a lot of cravings that you were having on a daily basis, they will just dissipate. So you don't have to put your body through that insulin spike if you don't have to. So I just start having dessert every once in a while. So whenever we are out or having a nice dinner with the family, then yeah, I'll have some dessert. But other than that, not eating highly processed food that can spike insulin, including dessert, that has helped tremendously in maintaining the weight loss. Bucket number two, your navigation tools. Imagine your weight journey like steering a ship. If you don't check your compass, what will happen? You'll drift, period. So here are your tools for course correction. And you can pick whatever works for you. And there could be other tools that you'll discover on your own. But these are the things that have worked for me. Weight tracking, ideally with body composition. Now I know it's a tricky subject. A lot of people talk about tossing the scale because they have such a negative connection with that. But we have to remind ourselves that that connection is just a story in our mind. Because we places meaning behind whatever number we see on the scale. We let that number determine our worth. So this is happening in here. That non-living thing is just the damn machine that just gives you a number. So for that, I mean, I journaling helped me. For a lot of people, therapy helps. So I'm just saying, if we can detach our emotions from these metrics, just look at them as a metric, then it's just so much easier to chart your course. and you stay on your course because you have things to look at and say, okay, I'm going in the wrong direction. Let me steer back to my North Star. Other one is body measurements. You measure your body, once a week, once every 2 weeks. Calorie tracking. I know a lot of people hate that. They don't want to do that. I have done that. I find it very helpful. Um, Even though I understand sometimes it's very painful if you have had a bad day, when you're putting all these things down, you have this emotional response in your mind. But again, we have to practice telling ourselves it's just a number. This is a number. This is my tool, and I'm going to use it to keep myself on track. And then there is food logs. you know, that is also very helpful. So for me, food log and calorie tracking are all in one because I do it on an app. So once I log food, it calculates the calories. Um, and the app that I'm using is called Fitness Pal. I have a free version, and it kind of gives you like a star at the top if you do not break your chain and you're logging every day. I like that. My mind likes that. So I log everything in. So now, is it 100% accurate? Hell no, it's not. I don't care if it's 70% accurate. But what matters is that I'm logging everything, and I'm in my mind using the same portion, same way of measuring. So when my calories are up, they are relatively up. So even though numbers are not the same, maybe I am counting 1400 calories, and in reality, it is 1700 calories. But it will be the same thing when, I am eating less. So at the end, I think perfection is a problem with the logging part. That's what I've noticed. The last tool is clothes fitting. If they start getting tight, that's a big indicator. So segueing into the clothing size, once you have worked so hard, you have lost all the weight. You're either close or you are at your ideal number. I suggest burn the boat. Don't keep your old, just in case I gain weight again clothes. That's like waving a white flag before even the battle starts. Actually tells your fat cells that, hey, you will probably get all your fat back. Replace your wardrobe. Yes, even your loungewear, because those oversized sweats and your husband's boyfriend's old t-shirts, they hide weight gain until it's too late to notice. So the real takeaway, create a system to detect meaningful weight gain, ideally in 3 to 5 pound range. And then usually that's like a water retention. But if that 3 to 5 pounds that went up after you ate a pasta bowl, they're not going down because water weight will fluctuate. It will go up and down. If you're not seeing the fluctuation is constantly like, it's kind of creeping up, um, it's not water weight. So the earlier you catch it, the faster you can pivot. And that's your lifelong strategy. It's not arriving somewhere. There's nothing like, oh, you did it and that's it. You never have to think about that again. This is a battle you have to fight every single day. The only difference is if you have your right tools, if you have a system in place, um, it will get a little bit easier, but it's not going to go away. So yes, your fat cells may remember your past, but you don't have to live in the past. Your job is to stay present and keep building a future you feel proud of. So if this video helped, share it with a friend who is stuck in the same cycle. And until next time, be kind to your body and don't forget to lift weights.